Founder of Muslim rule in India. 07. Reasons for the success of Turks in India. 1. Rajputas lacked unity and organization and were divided by rivalries. 2. There was no central government. 3. The Rajput kingdoms were small and scattered. 4. The Turks were better organized and took advantage of the lack of mutual cooperation among the Rajputas. The Delhi Sultanate, 1206 to 1526 AD. Muhammad Ghori's conquests became the nucleus of our new political entity in India, the Delhi Sultanate. This period can be divided into 5 distinct periods, viz. 1. The Slave Dynasty, 1206 to 90. 2. The Khilji Dynasty, 1290 to 1320. 3. The Tughlaq Dynasty, 1320 to 1414. 4. The Sayyid Dynasty, 1414 to 51. 5. The Lodhi Dynasty, 1451 to 1526. The Slave Dynasty, 1206 to 90 AD. Kutubuddin Aybak, 1206 to 10. A Turkish slave by origin, he was purchased by Muhammad Ghori, who later made him his governor. After the death of Ghori, Aybak became the master of Hindustan and founded the slave dynasty in 1206. For his generosity, he was given the title of Lakh Baksh, giver of lakhs. He died in 1210 while playing Choigan or polo. He constructed 2 mosques, Qutul Islam at Delhi and Adhai Dinka Tonpra at Ajmer. He also began the construction of Qutub Minar, in honor of famous Sufi Saint Khwaja Kutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. Aybak was a great patron of learning and patronized writers like Hasan al-Nizami, author of Tajul Mawasir, and Fakhruddin, author of Tariq-i-Mubarak Shahi. Shamsuddin Iltutmish, 1211 to 36. He was a slave of Kutubuddin Aybak and occupied the throne of Delhi in 1211 after deposing Aram Baksh. He was a very capable ruler and is regarded as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. He made Delhi the capital in place of Lahore. He saved Delhi Sultanate from the wrath of Genghis Khan, the Mongol leader, by refusing shelter to Khwarizm Shah, whom Genghis was chasing. He introduced the silver coin, Tanka, and the copper coin, Jital. He organized the Ekta system and introduced reforms in civil administration and army, which was now centrally paid and recruited. He set up an official nobility of slaves known as Chehelgani Chalisa, group of 40. He completed the construction of Qutub Minar, which was started by Aybak. He patronized Minhaj Siraj, author of Tabaqat-i-Nasiri. Ruknuddin, 1236. He was the son of Iltutmish and was crowned by her mother, Shah Turkan, after death of Iltutmish. He was deposed by Razia, daughter of Iltutmish, when he was out of capital to curb a rebellion in Awadh against him. Razia Sultana, 1236 to 40. Though Iltutmish had nominated his daughter Razia as the successor, the nobles placed Ruknuddin Firoj on the throne. However, Razia got rid of Ruknuddin and ascended the throne. 14. She was the first and only Muslim lady who ever ruled India. She was popular among the people but was not acceptable to the nobles and theologians. She further offended the nobles by her preference for an Abyssinian slave Yaqut. Soon after her accession, the governors of Multan, Badoin, Hansi and Lahore openly revolted against her. There was a serious rebellion in Bhatimda. Altunia, governor of Bhatimda, refused to accept suzerainty of Razia. Razia, accompanied by Yaqut, marched against Altunia. However, Altunia got Yaqut murdered and imprisoned Razia. Subsequently, Razia married Altunia and both of them marched towards Delhi. In 1240 AD, Razia became the victim of a conspiracy and was assassinated near Kathal, Haryana. Bahram Shah, 1240 to 42. After Razia, Iltutmish's third son Bahram Shah was put on the throne by the powerful Turkish council Chalisa. He was considered only as de jure ruler, while Naib-e-Mamlakat, the regent, was the de facto ruler. Bahram Shah lost his life after his failed attempt to assert his authority once on the throne. Masood Shah, 1242 to 46. He was the son of Ruknuddin but was deposed after Balban and Nasiruddin Mahmud's mother, Maliki Jahan, conspired against him and established Nasiruddin Mahmud as the new sultan. Nasiruddin Mahmud, 1246 to 66. He was the son of Iltutmish and was known as the Dawesi king as he was very pious and noble. He died in 1266. Ghiyasuddin Balban, 1266 to 87. Balban ascended the throne in 1266. He broke the power of Chalisa and restored the priestry of the crown. That was his greatest contribution towards the stability of the Sultanate. To keep himself well informed, Balban appointed spies. He created a strong centralized army to deal with internal disturbances and to check Mongols who were posing a serious danger to Delhi Sultanate. He established the military department Divanayars. The Persian court model influenced Balban's conception of kingship. He took up the title of Zila Ilahi, shadow of God. He introduced sita, prostration before the monarch, and pebos, kissing the feet of monarch, as the normal forms of salutation. He destroyed the Mevti Rajputa brigandage in the Doab, where forests were cut and forts built. In his last days he overlooked the Sultanate affairs due to the death of his eldest and most loving son, Muhammad, and rebellion by his closest and most loved slave, Tughril. Muhammad died fighting the Mongol in 1285 while Tughril was captured and beheaded. Kekubad, 1287 to 90. A grandson of Balban was seated on the throne by Fakhruddin, the Kotwal of Delhi, who assumed high 35 political authority during the last days of Balban. but end in Kekubad Delhi of slave throne. Was dynasty killed and by the Khilji beginning family, of which Khilji dynasty saw the Khilji dynasty, 1290 to 1320 AD Jalaluddin Khilji, 1290 to 96, Jalaluddin Khilji founded the Khilji dynasty. Alauddin Khilji, 1296 to 1316, he was a nephew and son-in-law of Jalaluddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji killed him and succeeded the throne in 1296. He was the first Turkish Sultan of Delhi who separated religion from politics. He proclaimed, kingship knows no kinship. Alauddin's imperialism, Alauddin annexed Gujarat, 1298, Ranthambore, 1301. Mewar, 1303, Malwa, 1305, Jalore, 1311. In Deccan, Alauddin's army led by Malik Kafur defeated Ram Chandra, Yadwa ruler of Devagiri, Pratap Rudradeva, Kakatiya ruler of Warangal, Veer Ballal III, Hoyasla ruler of Dwarsamudra, and Veer Pandya ruler of Madurai. Administrative reforms. In order to avoid the problems created by the nobles, Alauddin issued 4 ordinances. The Il Ordinance aimed at the confiscation of religious endowments and free grants of lands. By the Imp Ordinance, Alauddin reorganized the spy system. The 3D Ordinance prohibited the use of wine. The IVTH Ordinance issued by Alauddin laid down that nobles should not have social gathering and they should not intermarry without his permission. He introduced the system of Dug, the branding of horse, and Chehra, descriptive role of soldiers. Alauddin ordered that all land was to be measured and then the share of state was to be fixed. The post of special officer called Mustakraj was created for the purpose of collection of revenue. The peasants had to pay the produce as land revenue. Alauddin sought to fix cost of all commodities. For the purpose he set up 3 markets at Delhi, one market for food grains, the second for costly cloth and third for horses, slaves and cattle. Each market was under the control of a high officer called Shahna who maintained a register of the merchants and strictly controlled the shopkeepers and the prices. The check on market was kept by 2 officers Diwana Riyasat and Shahnai Mandi. All goods for sale were brought to an open market called Sarayadal. Many forts were built by him and the most important of them was Alai Fort. He also constructed the Alai Darwaja, the entrance gate of Qutub Minar. He also built the palace of 1,000 pillars called Hazar Sutun. He was a patron of art and learning. Amir Khusro, the poet-musician, was his favorite court poet. In 1316, after death of Alauddin, Malik Kafur, called Hajardinari, seized the throne. Before Kafur died, he nominated Shihabuddin, Alauddin's 6-year-old prince, as king but imprisoned the eldest prince Mubarak. 44. Khan. Kafur was killed by the loyalists of the royal family of Alauddin. Mubarak Khan, 1316 to 20. After the death of Kafur, Mubarak Khan was free from prison and worked as regent for Shihabuddin. He captured the throne at the first opportunity he got, but could rule only for a year as he sunk into debauchery and could not give up his dissipated lifestyle. He awarded his lover Mubarak Hassan authority over army and palace guards, who soon obtained full control over Sultan's palace. Mubarak Hassan was given the title Khusroi Khan by the Sultan and within months Khusroi killed Mubarak Khan and assumed the title of Nasiruddin in mid-1320. Khusroi Khan, 1320. Khusroi Khan was killed by Ghazi Malik, governor of Dipalpur, when he tried to oppose a rebellion by Ghazi Malik and his son Fakhruddin Jona. This brought the end of Khilji dynasty and established the Tughlaq dynasty on the throne of Delhi. The Tughlaq dynasty, 1320 to 1414 AD. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, 1320 to 25. Khusroi Khan, the last king of the Khilji dynasty, was killed by Ghazi Malik. Ghazi Malik ascended the throne assuming the title Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He died in an accident and his son Jona, Ulugh Khan, succeeded him under the title Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, 1325 to 51. Prince Jona, son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, ascended the throne in 1325. He tried to introduce many administrative reforms. He had 5 ambitious projects for which he became particularly debatable. Taxation in the Doab, 1326, the Sultan made an ill-advised financial experiment in the Doab. Between the Ganges and Yamuna, he not only increased the rate of taxation but also revived and created some additional and abwabs cesses. Although the share of the state various remained as in time of Alauddin, it was fixed arbitrarily not on the basis of actual produce. Prices were also fixed artificially for covering the produce into money. It is said that the increase was 20-fold and to this were added Gari or house tax and the Charai or pasture tax. The Sultan created a new department of agriculture called Diwanai Kohi. The main object of this department was to bring more land under cultivation by giving direct help to peasants. Transfer of capital, 1327. The most controversial step which Muhammad bin Tughlaq undertook soon after his accession was the so-called transfer of capital from Delhi to Devagiri. Devagiri had been a base for the expansion of Turkish rule in South India. It appears that the Sultan wanted to make Devagiri second capital so that he might be able to control South India better. Devagiri was thus named Daulatabad. After a couple of years, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to abandon Daulatabad. Largely became he soon found that just as he could not control South India from Delhi, he could not control North from Daulatabad. 1424. 3. Introduction of token currency. 1329. Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to introduce bronze coins, which were to have same value as that of the silver coins. Muhammad bin Tughlaq might have been successful if he could prevent people from forging new coins. He was not able to do so, and soon the new coins began to be greatly devalued in markets. Finally, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to withdraw the token currency. He promised to exchange silver pieces for bronze coins. For proposed Khorasan expedition, 1329, the Sultan had a vision of universal conquest. He decided to conquer Khorasan and Iraq and mobilized a huge army for the purpose. He was encouraged to do so by Khorasani nobles who had taken shelter in his court. Moreover, there was instability in Khorasan on account of the unpopular rule of Abu Said. This project was also abandoned. 5 Karachil Expedition, 1330. This expedition was launched in Kumaon Hills in Himalayas allegedly to counter Chinese incursions. It also appears that the expedition was directed against some refractory tribes in Kumaon Garhwal region with the object of bringing them under Delhi Sultanate. The first attack was a success, but when the rainy season set in, the invaders suffered terribly. His 5 projects led to revolts. His last days were spent in checking the revolts, altogether 36 revolts in 25 years. 1335 Mudurai became independent, Jalaluddin Ahsan Shah. 1336 Foundation of Vijayanagar, Harihar and Buka. Warangal became independent, Kanhaiya. 1341 to 47 revolts of Sada Amirs and foundation of Bahamani in 1347, Hassan Gangu. He died in Tata while campaigning in Sindh against Tughi, a Turkish slave. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, 1351 to 88. He was a cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. After his death, the nobles and theologians of the court selected Firoz Shah as the next sultan. After his accession, Firoz Tughlaq was faced with the problem of preventing the imminent breakup of Delhi Sultanate. He adopted the policy of trying to appease the nobility, army and theologians, and of asserting his authority over only such areas, which could be easily administered from the center. He therefore made no attempt to reassert his authority over South India and Deccan. He decreed that whenever a noble died, his son should be allowed to succeed to his position, including his ikta, and if he had no sons, his son-in-law, and in his absence his slave was to succeed. Firoz extended the principle of heredity to the army. Soldiers were allowed to rest in peace and to send in their place their sons. The soldiers were not paid in cash but by assignments on land revenue of villages, wajeha. This novel technique of payment led to many abuses. Firoz tried to win over the theologians, proclaiming that he was a true Muslim king and the state under him was truly Islamic. In order to keep the theologians satisfied, a number of them were appointed to high offices. 1429, Maulid. He tried to ban practices which the orthodox theologiane considered non-Islamic. Thus he prohibited the practice of Muslim women going out to worship at the graves of saints. It was during the time of Firoz that Fizya became a separate tax. Firoz refused to exempt the Brahmanas from payment of jizya since this was not provided for in Shariat. The new system of taxation was according to Quran. 4 kinds of taxes sanctioned by the Quran were imposed. These taxes were Kharaj, Jakat, Jizya and Kams. Kharaj was the land tax, which was equal to 1st October of the produce of the land. Jakat was 2% tax on property. Jizya was levied on non-Muslims and Kams was 1/5 of the booty captured during war. In order to encourage agriculture, the Sultan paid a lot of attention to irrigation. Firoz repaired a number of canals and imposed Hakaishab or Hasilaishab, water tax. He was a great builder. The cities of Fatehabad, Hisar, Jaunpur and Firozabad stand to his credit. The city of Jaunpur was founded in the memory of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and named after his nickname Jona Khan. The 2 pillars of Ashoka, one from Topra, Haryana, and the other from Meerut, UP, were brought to Delhi. The Sultan established at Delhi a hospital described as Darul Shifa. A new department of Diwanai Karat was set up to make provisions for the marriage of poor girls. Another step which Firoz took was both economic and political in nature. He ordered his officials that whenever they attacked a place they should select handsome and well-born young boys and send them to Sultan as slaves. However, his rule was marked by peace and tranquility, and the credit for it goes to his Prime Minister Khanijahan Makbul. He died in 1388. After Firoz Shah Tughlaq, 1388 to 1414. The Tughlaq dynasty could not survive much a.r. Firoz Shah's death. The Malwa, Gujarat and Shaki, Onpur, kingdoms broke away from the Sultanate. Timur's invasion, 1398-99. Timur, the Lame, a Turkish chief and cruel conqueror from Mongolia and descendant of Genghis Khan, invaded India in 1398 during the reign of Mahmud Shah Tughlaq, the last ruler of Tughlaq dynasty. Timur's army mercilessly sacked and plundered Delhi. Timur returned to Central Asia, leaving a nominee named Khizr Khan to rule over Punjab. In 1404 he died while on his way to conquering China. The Sayyid Khan dynasty, 1414 to 21, 1414 to 50, Timur's aide nominee captured Delhi. Khizr and the was Sayyid proclaimed dynasty the which new sultan ruled he over was Delhi the first and surrounding districts. Mubarak cut his throne after and Shah is the successful, 1421 to 34, Gangetic, expeditions Doab he succeeded area. Against he was Khizr Mevkis killed at Thibi. The nobles in his own court. 1441, Muhammad Shah, 1434 to 43. The nobles put Muhammad Shah on the throne, but he could not survive the infighting among the nobles in the court. He was authorized to rule only a meager area around 30 miles, and rest of the sultanate was ruled by nobles. Alam Shah, 1443–51, the last Sayyid king descended in favor of Behlol Lodhi and retired. Thus began the Lodhi dynasty, which was confined to Delhi and a few surrounding areas. The Lodhi dynasty, 1451–1526 AD. Behlol Lodhi, 1451–88. Behlol Lodhi was one of the Afghan Sardars. He established himself in Punjab after the invasion of Timur. He founded the Lodhi dynasty. Sikandar Lodhi, 1489–1517. Sikandar Lodhi was the son of Behlol Lodhi, who conquered Bihar and western Bengal. He shifted his capital from Delhi to Agra, a city founded by him. Sikandar was a fanatical Muslim and broke the sacred images of the Jwalamukhi temple at Nagarkot, and ordered the temples of Mathura to be destroyed. He took a keen interest in the development of agriculture. He introduced the Ghazai Sikandari, Sikandar's yard, of 32 digits for measuring cultivated fields. He was a poet and composed poems in Persian with the pen name Gulrukhi. Ibrahim Lodhi, 1517–26. He was the last king of the Lodhi dynasty and the last Sultan of Delhi. Into Separ. He was the son of Sikandar Lodhi. 7. The Afghan nobility was brave and freedom-loving people, but it was because of its vociferous and individualistic tendencies that the Afghan monarchy was weakened. Moreover, Ibrahim Lodhi asserted the absolute power of the Sultan. As a result, some of the nobles turned against him. At last Daulat Khan Lodhi, the governor of Punjab, invited Babur to overthrow Ibrahim Lodhi. Babur accepted the offer and inflicted a crushing defeat on Ibrahim Lodhi in the First Battle of Panipat in 1526. Ibrahim Lodhi was killed in the battle, and with him ended the Delhi Sultanate. Of decline of Delhi Sultanate. The main causes were 1. Despotic and military type of government which did not have the confidence of the people. 2. Degeneration of Delhi Sultans, the wild projects of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, incompetence of Firoz Tughlaq. 3. War of succession as there was no fixed law for succession. 4. Greed and incompetency of the nobles. 5. Defective military organization. 6. Vastness of empire and poor means of communication. 7. Financial instability. 8. Number of slaves increased to 180,000 in Firoz Tughlaq's time, which was a burden on the treasury. 9. Invasion of Timur. 30. Mongolian invasions during Delhi Sultanate. Regime of year events. Sultan 1221 AD. Chengiz Khan came up to the bank of Indus. 1241 AD. Tir Bahadur entered Punjab, looting and killing at Lahore. 1245 AD. Towards the end of the 1245 AD, Balban fought back the Mongolians and recovered Multan, which was captured by the Mongols. Balban 1279 AD. Prince Muhammad of Multan, Bagheera Khan from Samana and Malik Mubarak of Delhi combined together to defeat the Mongols. Balban 1286 AD. Tamar invaded India. Prince Muhammad was killed in the battle, and was decorated with the Khani Shahid title. Jalaluddin 1292 AD. Abdullah came to the northern part Khilji of India. About 4,000 Mongols got converted to Islam and became the famous New Musalman. Alauddin Khilji 1296–99 AD. Zafar Khan defeated the Mongols at Jalandhar and Saldi. Their leader was taken prisoner. Zafar Khan was killed in the battle. Alauddin Khilji 1304 AD. Ali Beg and Tash were defeated. Muhammad 1329 AD. Tamashirin Khan was able to reach bin Tughlaq, the outskirts of Delhi, but was defeated by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Administration under Delhi Sultanate. The Turkish Sultan in India declared himself lieutenant of the faithful eye of the Abbasid Caliphate of Baghdad and included his name in Khutbah. It did not mean that the Caliph became the legal ruler. The Caliph had only a moral position. Political, legal and military authority was vested in the Sultan. He was responsible for administration and was also the commander-in-chief of the military forces. 33. No clear law of succession developed among Muslim rulers. Thus military strength was the main factor in succession to the throne. Central Administration Department Head, founded by Divanai Wizarat, Department of Finance, Wazir Divanai Ares, Military Department. Arizai Mumalik Divanai Insha Dabi Mumalik, Department of Correspondence, Divanai Risalat, Department of Appeals, Dabi Mulk Divanai Mustakraj, Department of Arrears, founded by Alauddin Khilji, Divanai Riyasat Resai Mumalik, Department of Commerce, founded by Alauddin Khilji, Divanai Kohi, Department of Agriculture, founded by MD bin Tughlaq. Divanai Bangan, founded by Firoz Tughlaq, Department of Slaves. 45. Lucent's Department Head, founded by Divanai Karat, Department of Charity, founded by Firoz Tughlaq. Divanai Istiaq, founded by Firoz Tughlaq, Department of Pensions, Administrative Division, Administrative Unit Head Ikta, IE Province, Matti or Wali Sheikh, I.E District, Sector Paragana, IE Taluka, Chaudhry and Amil Gram, IE Village, Mukaddam. Cooked. Art and architecture under Delhi Sultanate. The new features brought by the Turkish conquerors were 1. The dome. 2. The lofty towers. 3. The true arch unsupported by beam. 4. The vault. They also brought with them an expert knowledge of the use of concrete and mortar, which had hitherto been little used in India. Adhai Dinka Chonpra at Ajmer has a beautiful prayer hall, an exquisitely carved mehrab of white marble and a decorative arch screen. The first example of true or Wusoid arch is said to be the tomb of Ghiyasuddin Balban in Mehrauli, Delhi. In the Khilji period the usage of Wusoid arch and dome was established, and for all. Famous example is the tomb of Hazrat Nizamuddin Aulia at Delhi. The Tughlaq buildings show stark simplicity and sobriety, probably indicating less financial resources as well as puritanical tastes. Sloping walls and a dark appearance characterize the buildings. Some notable Tughlaq monuments were the fort of Tughlaq-Quibad, the tomb of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, which marked a new phase in Indo-Islamic architecture by serving as a model for later tombs, and the fort of Adilabad. The Sayyid period was too short to allow construction of elaborate buildings. The construction of double domes was the main feature of Lodhi architecture. One building worth noting is the Motki Masjid erected by the Prime Minister of Sikandar Lodhi. Literature of Delhi Sultanate book author historical importance Tahqiq-i-Hind Al-Biruni was an Arabian scholar who wrote about the slave dynasty. Tabaqat-i Nasiri Minhajis gives an account of Siraj Iltutmish's reign. Laila Majnu Amir Khusroy, court poet of Alauddin Khilji Khazanul Future Amir Khusroy describes conquests of treasures of victory. Alauddin Khilji Tughlaqnama Amir Khusroy Ghiyasuddin's gives account of reign. Saifi Amir Khusroy poetic Alauddin description Khilji of Fatwa High Firoz Shahi 33 11.2 Vijayanagar and other kingdoms. Vijayanagar Empire 1336 to 1565 AD. Vijayanagar kingdom and the city were found by Hariha and Buka, sons of Sangama, who were feudatories of Kakatiyas and later became minister in the court of Kampili. Vijayanagar kingdom lay in the Deccan, to the south of the Bahmani kingdom. Vijayanagar period can be divided into four distinct dynasties, viz. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva and Urvidu. The Sangama dynasty, 1336 to 1485 AD. Harirai and Bukai, 1336 to 56, they laid the foundation of Vijayanagar. Vijayanagar Bahmani. Conflict began with the foundation of kingdoms. Clash of interests in three areas, Raichur Doab. Between Krishna and Tungabhadra, Krishna Godavari Delta and Marathwada. Bukai, 1356 to 79, Bukai strengthened the city of Vijayanagar and renamed it Vijayanagar. He restored harmony between the warring Vaishnavas and the Jains. The kings of Malabar, Ceylon and other countries kept ambassadors at his court. Hariha II, 1379 to 1404, Bukai was succeeded by his son Hariha II. Deva Raya I, 1406 to 22, he was the third son of Harihara II. His greatest achievement was his irrigation works, where a dam was built across the Tungabhadra, with canals leading to the city. Niccolo de Conti visited Vijayanagar during his reign. 1345, Indian Age. Deva Raya II, 1423 to 46, he was the grandson of Deva Raya I. Ahmad Shah I of Bahmani invaded Vijayanagar and exacted a war indemnity. Deva Raya II began the practice of employing Muslim cavalrymen and archers in the army on large scale. Their induction had begun during Deva Raya I. He was called Proit Deva Raya. In his inscriptions he has the title of Gajaptekra, the elephant hunter. Sri Lanka paid a regular tribute to him. He was follower of Veerashaivism, yet he respected other religions. Dimdima was the court poet, whereas Srinatha was given the title of Kavaizavabhuma. Abdur Razak, the envoy of Shah Rukh, visited Vijayanagar during his reign. The Saluva dynasty, 1486 to 1505 AD. Saluva Narsimha, 1486 to 91, he founded the Saluva dynasty. Tirumal, 1491, and Imari Narsimha, 1491 to 1505, both were minors during the regency of Nursa Nalka. Vasco da Gama landed in Calicut during his reign in 1498. The Tuluva dynasty, 1505 to 70 AD. Veera Narsimha, September 1505, Veera Narsimha, the son of Nursa Nalka, became the king after the assassination of Imari Narsimha, the last Saluva ruler. Krishna Deva Raya, 1509 to 29 AD. Saluvatima, the chief minister of Veera Narsimha, placed Krishna Deva Raya, the brother of Veera Narsimha, on the throne. Krishna Deva Raya maintained friendly relations with Albuquerque, the Portuguese governor, whose ambassador Friar Louis resided in Vijayanagar. He won Orissa, Gajapati kingdom. For Vijayanagar emerged the strongest during his reign. He built the Vijaya Mahal, House of Victory, the Hazara Rama temple and the Vikal Swami temple. Hate.org 1350, he took the titles of Yavana Raja Stapnakraye, restorer of the Yavana kingdom i.e. Bidar kingdom, and Avinva Ghoja. He is also known as Andhra Goj and Andhra Pitamaha. He was a gifted scholar in both Telugu and Sanskrit, of which only two works are extant, the Telugu work on polity, Amutamalyag, and the Sanskrit drama Jambavti Kalyanam. His court was adorned by the Ashtadigajas, the 8 celebrated poets of Telugu. 1.8 Dana, Manucharitam, 2. Timaya, Parijta Abhanama, 3. Bhattamurti. 4. Durjati 5. Malan 6. Raju Ramchandra 7. Surona 8. Tenali Ramkrisha, Panduranga Mahmetya. Krishna Deva Raya, a contemporary of Babur, was the most illustrious ruler of the Deccan. Duat Barbosa and Damanai Gopes, Portuguese travelers, visited Vijayanagar during the time of Krishna Deva Raya. Achyuta Deva Raya, 1529 to 42, Krishna Deva Raya nominated his brother Achyuta Deva Raya as the successor. During his reign, Fernão Nunes, a Portuguese horse trader, visited Vijayanagar. Venkat I, 1542, and Sadashiva Raya, 1543 to 76, real power was exercised by Rama Raja Rayadhistva brothers, the 5 successor states of the Bahmani. 1354, empire were divided through Rama Raja's diplomacy. The Battle of Talikota, also called the Battle of Rakshasatangari, was fought on 23 January, 1565. Rama Raja was taken prisoner and executed by Husain Nizam Shah I. The city of Vijayanagar, which was the pride of medieval world, was mercilessly destroyed. Caesar Frederick, an Italian traveller, visited Vijayanagar in 1567 to 68 during the reign of Sadashiva Raya. The Urvidu dynasty, 1570 to 1650 AD. Tirumal Raya, the brother of Rama Raja, ruled in the name of Sadasiva Raya. On his failure to repopulate Vijayanagar, he shifted the capital to Penugonda. He divided his empire into three practically linguistic sections. The empire slowly shrunk and the Urvidu dynasty ended in 1646. Administration, Nayankar system was the special feature of provincial administration. Iyengar system was the special feature of village administration. A body of 12 functionaries, known as Iyengars, conducted village affairs. Administrative unit head. Mandalam, i.e. province, Mandaleswar Nadu, i.e. district, Nadu Prabhu. Gram, i.e. village, Goila. They were granted tax-free lands, manyans which they were to enjoy in perpetuity. The Vijayanagar rulers issued gold coins called varahas or pagodas. The perta was half a vara. The fanam was 1/10 of perta. All were of gold mixed with alloy. The tar was a silver coin. The jital was a copper coin. Society. It was the only empire in medieval India which employed women in the state services. Women even went to battles. Also, it was the only state that promoted widow remarriage. Status of women improved during this time. Viprulu, Brahmans, Rajalu, Kshatriya, Nalvajetivaru, Shudras Vipravinodins, artisans, Kaikolas, weavers, Sahagaman, Sati, Besaga, forced labor. Architecture. 03. The ruins of the Vijayanagar at Hampi were brought to light in 1800 by an engineer of English East India Company named Colonel Colin Mackenzie. The Vijayanagar rulers produced a new style of architecture called Pravida style. The large number and prominence of pillars and piers are some of the distinct features. Horse was the most common animal on the pillars. Another important features were the mandapa or open pavilion with a raised platform, meant for seating deities, and Amman shrine. Important temples were Vikalaswamy and Hazara Rama temple at Hampi, Tadpatri and Parvati temples at Chidambaram and Vardaja and Ekambarnath temples at Kachipuram. The Vijayanagar rulers started the practice of inscribing the stories of the Ramayana and the Mahabharata on 05. The walls of the various temples. Vikalaswamy and Hazara Rama temple are examples of this type of wall inscription. Bahmani kingdom. Alauddin Hasan Bahman Shah, 1347 to 58, he was also known as Hasan Gangu. He founded the Bahmani kingdom with its capital at Gulbarga, first capital. Tajuddin Firoz Shah, 1397 to 1422, the greatest among them all. He was determined to make Deccan the cultural center in India. He inducted large number of Hindus in the administration on a large scale. He paid much attention to the ports of his kingdom, Choil and the gold which attracted trade ships from Persian Gulf and Red Sea. Ahmad Shah Wali, 1422 to 35, transferred the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. Breakup of Bahmani Empire into 5 kingdoms is 5 kingdoms: year of founder, dynasty, year of foundation and annexation, by 1. Bera 1484 Fetoilah Imad 1574 Imad Shah Shahi, Ahmadnagar, 2. Bijapur 1489 Yusuf Adil Shahi 1686 Shah, Aurangzeb, 3. Ahmadnagar 1490 Malik Nizam 1633 Ahmad Shahi, Shah Jahan, 4. Golconda 1518. Kuli Kutub 1687 Shah Shahi, Aurangzeb, 5. Bidab 1526 to 27 Amir Ali Barid 1610, Bijapur, Barid Shahi Ibrahim Adil Shah, the greatest ruler of Adil Shahi dynasty, introduced Dakshini in place of Persian as court language. Gol Gumbaj was built by Muhammad Adil Shah. It is famous for the so-called Whispering Gallery. Was designed by Yakut of the Bul. Kuli Kutub Shah built the famous Golconda fort. Muhammad Kuli Kutub Shah was the greatest ruler of Kutub Shahi dynasty, and it was he who founded the city of Hyderabad, originally known as Bhagyangar after the name of the Sultan's favorite, Bhagyamti, and he also built the F. Moyus Charminar. Other provincial kingdoms: Kingdom capital founder Jaunpur, Shaki, Jaunpur Malik Server, Khwaja Jaha. Malwa. Dar, Mandu Dilawar Khan Gori Gujarat Ahmedabad Ahmad Jafar Khan, Muzaffar Shah Bangoi Lucknoti, Panduya, Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah Ekdala Khandesh Burhanpur and Malik Raza Faruqi Asir 12. Religious movements in 15th to 16th centuries. Bhakti movement. The Bhakti movement was based on the doctrine that the relationship between God and man is through love and worship rather than through performing any ritual or religious ceremonies. 15. It was in South India for the first time that Bhakti movement grew from a mere religious doctrine to a broad-based popular movement based on social and religious equality. It was led by popular saint poets called Alvars, who represented emotional side of Vaishnavism through collective songs called Prabandhas. It declined after the 10th century, but it was revived as a philosophical and ideological movement by Acharyas, who represented the intellectual side of Vaishnavism in the 11th century. Most important among them was Ramanuj, whose disciple Ramananda took it to North India. Main features: 1. Discarded rituals and sacrifices. 2. Emphasized purity of heart and mind, humanism and devotion. 3. Monotheistic in nature. 4. God has either form, saguna, or be formless, nirguna. 5. Knowledge was a constituent part. 6. An egalitarian movement denounced casteism. 7. Best form of worship is singing bhajans and realization of God by personal effort. No need of priestly class. 8. Saint, preached in local languages. Bhakti saints: Ramanuj, 1017 to 1137, the Vaishnava saint from Seoul, India. The earliest exponent of Bhakti movement and Vishittadvaita philosophy. Ramananda, 14th to 15th century, the first great Bhakti saint of North India who opened the doors of Bhakti without any distinction of birth, caste, creed or sex. Kabir, 1440 to 1510, the most radical disciple of Ramananda, who was opposed to caste, creed, image worship, unnecessary rituals and sought to remove distinction between Hindus and Muslims and believed in social unity. Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1538, a Nirguna Bhakti saint and social reformer. The first Sikh Guru and founder of Sikhism. Chaitanya, 1486 to 1533, one of the greatest saints of Krishna Bhakti cult and founder of Gaudiya or Bengal Vaishnavism. Vidyapati, 14th to 15th century, Maithili saint poet who wrote thousands of love ballads on Radha Krishna, Padavali. Purandar Das, 1480 to 1564, the foremost and the most prolific Vaishnav saint composer in Karnataka. Believed to have laid the foundations of the modern phase of Karnataka music. Mibai, 1498 to 1546, the Rathore princess of Mereta and daughter-in-law of Rana Sanga of Meva. The most well-known woman Bhakti saint of the Krishna cult of Vaishnavism. Vallabhacharya, 1479 to 1531, a great saint of the Krishna Bhakti cult of Vaishnavism, who propounded the philosophy of Pushti Marg. Surdas, 1483 to 1563, a blind poet of Agra. He sang the glory of Krishna in his Sursaga. 26. Tulsidas, 1532 to 1623, the greatest saint poet of the Ram Bhakti cult of Vaishnavism. The celebrated author of Ramcharitamnas, Kavitwale, and Gitavali. Shankaradeva, 1449 to 1568, the founder of the Vaishnava devotional movement in Assam. Dadu Dayal, 1544 to 1603, a Nirguna saint Bhakti saint belonging to the Tanna caste, who was born in Gujarat but spent his whole life in Rajasthan. Founder of the Dadu Panth. Thyagaraja, 1767 to 1847, a Telugu saint who spent his life in Tamil Nadu. The greatest saint composer of Karnataka music. He adorned God in the form of Rama, the incarnation of Vishnu and hero of Valmiki's Ramayana. Bhakti saints of Maharashtra Dharm. Jnaneshwara Jnanadeva, 1271 to 1296, the fountainhead of the Bhakti movement in Maharashtra, founder of Marathi language and literature, wrote a long commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, called the Bhavatadipka, more commonly known as Jnaneshwari. Namadeva, 1270 to 1350, a contemporary of Jnaneshwara. He was a tailor by caste and was opposed to all caste distinctions. The object of his devotion was Vithoba or Vittal, identified with Vishnu, of Pandharpur. The cult of Vithoba or Vittal known as Varkari sect was founded by Namadeva. Eknath, 1533 to 1599, a great scholar saint from Maharashtra who wrote a commentary on the Ramayana called the Bhavat Ramayana, and another commentary on the 11th book of the Bhagavata Purana. Tukaram, 1598 to 1650, the greatest Bhakti poet from Maharashtra, wrote devotional poems, known as Abhangas, which are the glory of devotional poetry. Ramdas, 1608 to 1681, the last great saint poet from Maharashtra. The Sabodha is the compilation of his writings and sermons. 33. 2. Sufi movement. Sufism is the mystical movement in Islam. The Sufis, while accepting the Sharia, did not confine their religious practice to formal adherence and stressed cultivation of religious experience aimed at direct perception of God. The Sufi doctrine was based on union with God, which can be achieved through love of God, prayers, fasts and rituals, without reference to Hindu or Muslim. Main features: 1. Organized in different silsilas, orders. 2. Absorbed variety of ideas and practices from Hinduism, Christianity, Buddhism and Zoroastrianism. 3. Sufis aimed at service of mankind through spiritual self-development. 4. Eager for Hindu-Muslim unity and cultural synthesis. 5. Opposed to orthodoxy, they preached faith and devotion to God. 6. Discouraged materialistic life but not in favor of complete renunciation. Sufi saints. Khwaja Ali Hujwairi, 11th century, also known as Data Ganj Baksh, the earliest Sufi saint of eminence known to have settled in India, the author of the celebrated manual of Sufism entitled Kashful Majab. 38. Shak Bahoiddin Zakaria, 1182 to 1262, the founder of the Suhrawardi order who founded the first leading Khangah in India at Multan. Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti, 1141 to 1236, the founder of the Chishti order, the first and most popular liberal Sufi order in India. He settled down at Ajmer about 1206. Other Chishti Sufi saints who followed Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti or Khwaja Ajmeri were Sheikh Hamiduddin Nagori, 1192 to 1274, Khwaja Kutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki, died 1236, in whose memory Qutub Minar was built by Iltutmish, Baba Fariduddin Ganjai Shakar, 1175 to 1265, popularly known as Baba Farid, built his Kanka at Ajodan, Punjab, and was the first great Punjabi poet of Sufism. Shak Nizamuddin Oli, 1236 to 1325, who gained the popular title Mehboob-e-Ilahi, the beloved of the God, built his Khangah in Delhi and was one of the most famous Sufi saint of the Chishti order. Shak Nasiruddin Mahmud, d.1365, the charismatic Chishti saint, who was later known as Chiragai Delhi, the lamp of Delhi. Syed Muhammad Gesudaras, d1421, who settled down at Gulbarga, Karnataka, was popularly known as Bandanvaz. Benefactor of God's creatures, and authored more than 30 books on Sufism. He was one of the early writers and poets in Urdu. Shak Badruddin Samarkandi, 13th century, founded Firdozi order which was restricted to Bihar. Shah Ni'matullah Qadiri and Shah Abdullah Shukatari, 15th century, Shah Ni'matullah Qadiri founded the Qadiriya order and Shah Abdullah Shukatari, d. 1458, founded the Shukatari order. The former spreader in Uttar Pradesh and Deccan, while he later spreads mainly in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Mian Mir, 1550 to 1635, was the most popular super saint of the Qadiriya order. Khwaja Baqi Billah, 1536 to 1603, founded the Naqshbandiya order and its most famous saint was Shaikh Ahmad Sir Hindi, d. 1625, known as Mujaddid Alif. 45. Sufi words meaning. Tasawwuf Sufism. Shaikh Pir Murshid spiritual teacher Murid disciple. Khalifa successor. Kanga the hospice. Sama musical recital. Raksa dance. Fana self-annihilation Jirat pilgrimage to the tombs of super saints achievements of Bhakti and Sufi movements 1. They influenced each other and inherited from each other 2. Bhaktism reformed Hinduism and Sufism liberalized Islam 3. Both put brakes on orthodoxy. 4. Both encouraged social reform measures 5. Atmosphere of interreligious fraternity was created. Hindu and Muslims reconciled 6. Development of regional languages 7. A cultural synthesis took place which transformed a Muslim rule in India to a national government under Akbar. 34. 13. Mughal period, 1526 to 40 and 1555 to 1857, Babur, 1526 to 30. The foundation of the Mughal rule in India was laid by Babur in 1526. He was a descendant of Timur, from the side of his father, and Chengiz Khan, from the side of his mother. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the First Battle of Panipat on 21 April 1526 and established Mughal dynasty which lasted till the establishment of British rule in India. In 1527, he defeated Rana Sanga of Mewar at Kanwa. In 1528, he defeated Medini Rai of Chaneri at Chanderi. In 1529, he defeated Muhammad Lodi, uncle of Ibrahim Lodi, at Gagra. In 1530, he died at Agra. His tomb is at Kabul. He adopted Tughluma and flanking party system and was the first to use gunpowder and artillery in India. He wrote his autobiography Tuzukai Baburi in Turkey in which he gives an excellent account of India and his empire. Tuzukai Baburi was translated into Persian, named Babunama, by Abdur Rahim Khanekna and in English by Madame Beveridge. He compiled 2 anthologies of poems, Divan, in Turkey, and Mubayan, in Persian. He also wrote Rizali uses or letters of Babur. Humayun, 1530 to 40 and 1555 to 56. He was the son of Babur and ascended the throne in 1530. His succession was challenged by his brothers Kamran, Hindal and Askari along with the Afghans. He fought 2 battles against Sher Shah at Choisa, 1539, and at Kannauj Bilagram, 1540, and was completely defeated by him. He escaped to Iran where he passed 12 years of his life in exile. After Sher Shah's death, Humayun invaded India in 1555 and defeated his brothers the Afghans. He once again became the ruler of India. He died while climbing down the stairs of his library at Dinpanah in 1556 and was buried in Delhi. His sister, Gulbadan Begum, wrote his biography Humayunama. He built Dinpanah at Delhi as his second capital. Sur Empire, Second Afghan Empire, 1540 to 55.